Okay, so let's continue our look at finding slope with different units on the x and y. So look at this table right here. We have time and we have distance. All right, so again, nothing real different here, but again, notice how we have actually different variables. We have time is h for hours, m is for miles. All right, but I always advise students, listen, when you first get one of these tables, first step, write x and y above. To remember, you know the x column is the first column, you know the y column is the second column. Do that every time, and this is very straightforward to what we've done before. Let's just connect everything. So first thing, let's figure out what's happening in each column. Will look like if I start subtracting 75 minus 20 in that y column, 130 minus 75. If I subtract there, I realize that I'm adding 55 in that column. 20 plus 55 is 75. 75 plus 55 is 130, all the way down the line. I like that x column. Look at that. Looks like I'm just adding 1 there. So I got my plus 1 in the x column. Remember slope, right? Y over x, right? So 55 over 1. Again, 55 divided by 1 simplifies to 55 for our slope. Okay, so now let's go back and review those units. Remember, units on the y-axis. Well, look what we got. We got miles, right? Distances in miles. Those are our units. What are our units on the x, right? What do we got there? We got hours. So we have our miles for the y and our hours for the x. Remember that we're doing our slope units now, y per 1x. So we have miles per hour, which means put it together with the slope, 55, and the miles per hour. We have slope with the units as 55 miles per hour. So this person, this car, this train, whatever it is going 55 miles per hour. All right, easy enough. Let's just review everything else. Where's that y-intercept now? Always when x is 0. In this case, when the hours were 0, we had 20 miles right there, 0, 20. And remember, our equation is just slope times the x, add the y-intercept. So we take our 55 for our slope, 55x plus 20 for our y-intercept. Very straightforward, people. The only thing, listen, algebra people like to use variables sometimes that make more sense for what we're talking about. So let's take a look at that, right? Take a look at distance. We're talking distance is, right? So when we talk about an equation, let's build that. Well, the distance, we're really talking about m there. The variable is m. So instead of using y equals, well, let's just, instead of y, we'll use m. So instead of y equals, it's m equals. And then for x, the x column, we have time in hours, so there's the h. So we're just going to use that for in place of x. So we have, for the next one, we have m equals, where our h is, 55h plus 20. Those equations are the same equation, but we're just using the variables from the actual table. Instead of y, we used m, so it was m equals. And instead of x, we used h. So it was 55h plus 20 instead of 55x plus 20. Very straightforward, but again, sometimes we like to use the variables that make sense for what we're talking about here. M stands for miles, H stands for hours, makes it a lot easier when you're looking at the formula to make sense. All right, so that's all it is, people. Putting everything together still, slope units, y-intercept, and equation. So let's go take a look at this, practice this, and see how we can put everything together with this, with slope and the unit.